Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a Doc Marten review for you guys. These are my Doc Marten Jadon boots, and I absolutely love them. I really wanted a new pair of Doc Martens, so I settled on these. It was time to replace my classic pair, and when I saw these, they just looked different. They looked more interesting with the platform, so I went for these. They seem to look a little bit more fashionable than my classic 1460s. They just have a little bit more flavor. They retail for $180, but you probably can find them on sale if you keep your eyes peeled for a good one. I managed to find these for $50 off. I ended up paying $130, which made them even more of a great choice. I wear a size 9 in these, and I think these fit really well. They're still quite stiff and heavy because I haven't completely worn them in yet, but the 9 fits pretty good. If you're unsure, personally, I would head to my nearest mall because you most likely can go to like a Journeys or maybe a department store would have one, and you could just try them on and get a good feel and know for sure if that's the right size for you. The key to these boots is wearing the right socks. I'm still working to break them in. I try not to wear them way too often because I can be a little heavy on my shoes sometimes, so I kind of got to rotate to keep them in good condition. But I have worn these with thin socks before, and the way they killed my ankles was crazy. This part right here was really like the pain portion. It really kind of hurt just way too much. So ever since then, I always make sure I wear thicker socks that come at least above the top of the boot. That way it protects my ankle, and it also will protect my heel as well and make sure that it's not rubbing or anything, because that's really when it also starts to hurt. I just try to wear them for a few hours at a time every time I do wear them, and just kind of break them in slowly over time. In my experience, my Doc Martens really don't tend to break in until I've worn them at least 10 to 15 times, sometimes maybe even more. So I try to be patient and just take my time and ease my way into them, because when they finally do break in, I love them and never want to take them off. They just become so comfortable and so easy to throw on. So I just work my way into it, and I know after a few wears of wearing them for a little more than a few hours at a time, they'll finally get there. Another point I really want to make about these boots is that I was really hesitant to get them because I'm taller. I'm 5'9", and these really kind of turned me off because I thought, that's a lot of inches to add to my already decent height. So even though I am taller, I don't look like I'm on stilts. It only adds about 2 inches of my height. It's really not that much to worry about. So if you're hesitant like me because of that exact same reason, then go for it anyway. It's only a little bit of height added, and they look really good on. So those are just my general basic thoughts on the boots. Let's get more into some pros of the boots as well as some cons of the boots. The first pro for me is that they zip. One of the main pain in the butts of the regular Doc Martens to me is that I have to lace and unlace perfectly every time to get them to look just how I want them to. But with these, you just zip them on up. I guess this could be problematic depending on your calf thickness, because it isn't really adjustable that much. But if you're someone with, the average size calf, then this really shouldn't be a problem, and I find this to be one of the best features of them. They're so easy to get on and off because I just zip it up and zip it down when I'm ready to put them on or take them off. It does still have laces, so it looks like they're tied up, which I like because I can customize the laces, take them out, tie them how I want to, but I know that they're a little bit easier than they look. Another pro of these boots is that Doc Martens in general tend to last a really long time. I know I've had some pairs for years, and I can just hold on to them for a really long time before eventually I'll have to replace them, which means I get a really good cost per wear for the boots, and they tend to last me a few years. That makes them really worth it in my opinion, and I feel like the money spent is justified. My third pro for the boots is their versatility. These go with so many different looks, so many different outfits, so many different styles. The fact that they're unisex, I just love them because I feel like I can do so much with them, and I can wear them so many different places. I can wear them in the snow, but I also can wear them in the spring. It just really is so much you can do with a classic pair of Doc Martens that you'll definitely for sure get your wear out of them. They look good with dresses, but they also look good with jeans. It just is endless possibilities, so I think they're very worth it. Another pro for me is that they withstand the test of time. People have been wearing Doc Martens for decades, so you don't have to worry about them being a trendy item or going out of style. Buying one pair means they'll last for a while, and that was definitely a pro for me. I felt like I was buying something that I knew would last me a long time. I would be able to keep it for years and years and years to come. So that was one of my main pros for the boots. they never go out of style. Okay, so let's move on to cons. I do have a couple of cons for the boots in addition to the pros I mentioned. So the first con for me is that they're extremely heavy and stiff, like extremely heavy. When I wear them, I can feel myself lifting the boot every time I take a step, and it kind of can be tiring. Depending on how long you're walking or where you're going, it kind of is exhausting to have to consciously lift up your foot every time and feel that additional weight pulling it down. It really is something to be aware of because it has this platform on it. It adds that extra weight and you really don't think about it, but it kind of has an impact on how far you want to walk, how long you want to be outside before you start getting crabby and cranky, and how far you really can go. Luckily for me, I live in a city where I mostly drive, but if I lived in a city where I had to walk a lot, I would reconsider, because this is something that really weighs down your foot and makes walking really long distances kind of a pain. I probably could do a couple hours tops if I'm not walking around a ton, just going somewhere like to run a few errands or going to the mall or something like that. But if I had to walk blocks, this would not be my shoe of choice. Like I said, I literally can feel it every time I step, so that's definitely something I should have taken into consideration, but it doesn't outweigh any of the pros I stated before, so I just kind of neglect it and make sure I wear them in a smart way. Wear them somewhere where I'm not going to be trekking for miles. If I am, I'll pick something else. So if I know I'm going to be doing a little bit of walking, I'll go for it. You just kind of got to think about those things when you're going to put them on. My second con is that they are extremely hard to drive in. So like I said, I live in a city where I drive mostly everywhere, and putting these on and trying to drive, it's literally like putting a brick on your gas pedal. Like it's so big that it's hard to maneuver sometimes, and I have to be really careful when I'm driving with these because they just can take over the whole pedal. Sometimes I felt myself push both pedals because the boot is just so wide and so big. So that's something to take into consideration as well. My third con is that of all Doc Martens, they take a little while to break in, so they're very stiff when you first wear them, and they're very painful. Most of my pain comes from my heel and, like I said before, around my calf area, just because of how this brushes against the back of my leg and how this rubs against the back of my heel. Those really are like the most painful spots. So you can really get rid of that with just wearing the thicker socks, but if you're someone who gets too warm and you don't really like to wear thicker socks, definitely maybe do the Band-Aid method for a little while and maybe it'll go away, but that is a con for me. Once they're broken in, they're amazing, but that little period where you gotta work with them is a mess, and I wish we didn't have to face it, but it's inevitable, I guess. So that really concludes my review for these Doc Marten Jadon boots. I love them. I think they look so effortlessly cool, and they add that cool factor to all of my outfits, and they complement every outfit I put them with. I feel like they look that much cooler than the average Doc Marten style because of the platform. They just look a little more stylish to me. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely don't forget to drop a comment, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. As always, be sure to subscribe and stop back by next week. I drop a video once, sometimes twice a week, and I would hate for you to miss something new.